everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome to Sync with Pync's premiere episode. Meet Jaiden John, a globally accredited MIT cancer researcher. Jaiden's a 15-year-old machine learning developer from Kerala, India. His research project is on cancer detection using AI. In this conversation, we will hear more about the work Jaiden is doing and how technologies like AI are helping the world today. So Jaiden, what have you been up to? It's like 1 in the morning there.
Yeah, I stay up a bit sometimes to work with my friends at different time zones.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wouldn't be able to stay up that late myself at night. I'm just not built for that. But tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got interested in the fields of AI and medicine.
So yeah, I was interested in
Mhm.
in computers in general, like
Yeah,
from a young age,
definitely.
because my grandfather would bring his laptop from his office. Like he had a laptop, and that was the only laptop that was available in my house. So in sometimes in weekends he would bring that laptop and let me use it. So like as a kid, like using the simple softwares like Word and the Excel was really fascinating for me. So then I wanted to know more about it, how the programs work. So that's how I started to learn programming and later got interested in fields like AI. And now I'm mainly into AI. I'm an AI developer. I mean, still learning and exploring the field. It's a huge field. I'm still learning, and yeah, that's what I'm doing now. And medicine, I have no relation with medicine. I'm not trained in medicine or any field like medicine, oncology and stuff. I just have like very little knowledge about that I gained while doing this project like cancer detection using AI. So in this podcast, like we will be mainly talking about the work that I'm doing and the research project and how AI is helping it, how the technology is helping it from the technology standpoint, not from a medical standpoint.
That being said, due to the lockdown and the coronavirus pandemic, how has it impacted your overall research and other works?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I do most of my work online, through virtual calls, Skype calls, Zoom calls, and stuff. I used to like do this before a long time, so I'm like
Uh-huh.
used to this. This is the normal for me, so
Okay,
it isn't. It's
got
not a
it.
big deal
Yeah,
for me.
got it.
Side, many of my friends are from different countries. They are. I mean, yeah, it's kind of a bad situation. I'm not able to work with some of them. But the thing is, like, I'm used to this video calling and the online learning thing. So the learning thing and everything was really fine for me. Yeah. Still able to learn a lot of new things. Still able to do my courses. Still able to do my projects. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so Jaden, the work that you've been doing is amazing, and um, but AI is we've all heard that term and we've all come across it at some point in our
Mm-hmm.
lives, but I don't think all of us know exactly what AI is, like the meaning behind it and the applications of it. So can you just give us a little deep dive and explain what AI really truly is to us and
Yeah.
the members?
Yeah, sure, totally. Yeah. So I'm sure like everyone have heard about AI, everyone because it's now the buzzword these days. It's everywhere. So yeah, I'll just try to give some examples of AI that you may be using it in your daily life, but that you may not be aware of. So I'll just give us a few examples so you can understand what the technology is and how it works. So if you look there's a lot of applications for AI actually, yeah, in all and many interest areas. For one example would be one of the simplest and earliest uses of AI would be spam detection in an email. So like when you send an email to a person, sometime it ends up in the spam folder, even if it's not a spam email. So the person is doing that, the thing is doing that is an AI system. So the AI system is actually looking for the words in the email, the title of the email, the subject of the email, and the from email ID to see whether that email or email ID is linked with any of the spams that's happening or any of the spam. So if you send an email like you have won $10,000 or something, probably it's going to end up in spam. So that's one of the like simplest uses of AI that's been around for a while. And one of the like a bit newer one would be like the face recognition features on your smartphone. So nowadays all the smartphones, most of the smartphones comes with this. You can just unlock it, the smartphone can recognize if this is the real user using this. So it does this by, so like if you may have seen like when you have using the smartphone the first time, um like you have to set up the thing called face ID. You have to set up the face in it. So you're taking a picture of your face, so you're scanning your entire face around it. So what's happening is like what's happening at that time is your phone is actually collecting data from your the features of your the data of your face, the pictures, images of your face. And so this data will be used to train a machine learning model. So what really happening is, so we take the data, with a lot of data, we what we can do is to train a machine learning model. So training means just like training if I see someone and 3 or 4 times, I can understand who the person is. I can recognize the person in a later time. So just like that, the training part is really exciting. That's what's the most exciting thing in AI project. So we use this data to train a machine learning model. So if you ask me like how the training and everything work, I won't just I won't in this thing, in this podcast, I won't go too deep into it. But to give you just an idea of how it works, it's basically called an artificial neural network. So an artificial neural network is nothing but something that was inspired by it was kind of slightly inspired by the neurons in our brain, and that helps us to do different activities. So the neurons in our brains help us to do different activities. It's the same thing. That's the same thing what ANNs or artificial neural networks do. It was inspired from the brain. So if I give the data to the artificial neural network, and if I tell this person is A, or this person, I give that person the name, and I tell relate to this person, this is the machine can recognize which the person, because it have already learned. So it's a very neural network is a very exciting thing, one of the most exciting things in AI. So that's how basically AI works.
Wow, that's amazing. So just to be
Yeah.
clear, this same technology that unlocks your phone is used in the healthcare industry?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's actually true. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not the same exact technology. The algorithms and things we use is different. Like it depends on what type of data you're working with. If I'm working with a bit more complex data, I would use more complex algorithms. So, but yes, the underlying principles and everything is the same. So it's the same thing. It's in like the thing that the technology that unlocks your phone is kind of what powers the healthcare industry these days. So like if you look at the past few years, we can see a lot of AI system that's used in hospitals and the healthcare industry. Like very big increase in the systems, AI softwares and systems that's been used. So one of the like main reasons to this is, one, obviously like AI systems are getting better and better. That's a thing. But one other main reason is also because AI systems need data to train. I mentioned AI systems need data to train. So with this data, so AI systems like in the like past few years, there's been a significant increase in medical data, EHR data that's been recorded. I mean, we had data earlier, but now but that was not digitally stored, or like in not any kind of data or was digitally stored. But these days, like if you visit a hospital and if you take a few scans or something, and next day maybe if you go back or you go for a follow-up appointment, you can easily see that the doctor can easily like pull your entire file, and all the data and everything will be available. So it's all that this data is recorded. So the same data is helping AI developers, engineers, the AI engineers, to create models, to create things that is going to help diagnose, to do analytics, etc. So if you even in the healthcare industry, there's different areas where AI is being used. So like for diagnosis, so one of the key areas is like diagnosis, yeah, to read X-ray scans, to read CT scans and PET scans, because as I mentioned, analyzing in scans and coming to a diagnosis the process is the same for every patient. So it's not something that requires high level of thinking or high level of supervision. So these things that it's a repetitive thing. So things that are that can that repeats, and the things that tasks that are repetitive, does not require high level of thinking. So the doctors can just focus on things like patient care and more things which require more human supervision. So, and the AI can actually help the doctors to read X-rays, to come with the diagnosis very quickly and easily, to read CT scans, and to look at patient data all the time, and to look at patient vitals and come up with the diagnosis and identify if there's a problem, if there's anything going to happen or not. So yeah, that it's really helping in the healthcare industries these days.
So, do you think any concrete results from your research will actually come to fruition and take effects?
Mhm.
Because I know a lot of research that you've been doing has been going on for a while, but what can we truly see out of it in the coming ages?
Yeah, yeah, got it. Yeah, sure. So yeah, I won't say like my research would is like would like bring a different new kind of technology or something very very new, or it's going to be like a big breakthrough research that's going to do something new. Yeah, what we are trying to, at least I'll be very happy if I can contribute something to the community, to the AI community. Like there's still a lot of researchers out there working on the similar things. So contributing something to that community would means a lot for me. So as our group is really a small group and a small research group, so yeah, I'll just give you a brief about what we are doing in our project, and what's the technology that we use, and what's the AI algorithms that we use. So I work on cancer detection using AI. I work on I use different types of data to detect cancer early, to do potentially detect cancer before the tumor, things like that, or early stages of the cancer where it's easier for treatment. So we all know that if the cancer is detected early, it can really help in improving patient survival rate, and also it reduces many cost, the complexity of the treatment, and maybe in some cases, if early detection is possible, things like treatment methods like chemotherapy is not required if we are able to detect it at early stages. So but it's not easy, what many researchers are trying to do in not just AI, in many fields, is to trying to detect this early, use bringing like creating new types of scans and stuff. So what we are doing is like this, as I told, so some of the current methods that's been recommended for early detection of finding out that you have a cancer early, is like regular screening, annual screening. So like for breast cancer, like annual mammograms and stuff. So but still, like the thing is, for when you take a mammogram, the tumor should be present there, or there should be some sort of before even if you do annual mammograms, you won't be able to detect the cancer before the tumor starts, or things like that. So we are trying to, what most the new research doing is trying to detect the cancer a lot earlier, so that treatment can be very easier. So one of the technologies that being used these days for that to doing the same, that is like detecting cancer early, is using gene or using DNA mutations, genes, etc., etc. So I'll just give you an example. So let's see. So yeah, for humans in each cell, normally there's like 23 pairs of chromosomes, which makes up 46. So this inside this chromosomes, there's hundreds and thousands of genes. So sometimes there is a defect in the gene. It may be inherited from your parents or both of your parents, or it just happened in your lifetime. So sometimes there will be a defect in the gene which may cause cancer, or which may have like high risk of cancer. For example, if you take the example of breast cancer, if you have a mutation to a specific gene called BRCA gene, it means if you have a defected copy of the BRCA gene, so the risk of you having a lot of types of cancer is high, very high risk of getting a lot of types of cancer. So like this genetic data and DNA data, after all, and this like all there's a lot of research going on to trying to find out things from this genetic data. And now these days, like there's genetic test there that you can do for to if there's like you if you believe your family have like your family members are all of your father or mother is cancer survivors or have cancer. You can maybe go for some, there's a lot of like gene tests and stuff available right now. So this genetic data is really valuable and important. So what we are doing is using AI to better identify this data, understand this data, because AI is really good, AI techniques, and is really good to learn from a big data set, learn from a big data. So we are trying to use this data to find out, to identify the data, to understand and the mutations. We are using data like gene expression data, which can give us a lot of information, like whether that person will have cancer, or we can find out the origin of the cancer if that's happened, and identifying the type of the cancer, what type of cancer we are looking at. So by combining like the data by from many sources, I think machine learning can help us a lot in detecting cancer early, because if we get data from many sources, like from one from your DNA, one from like some from your DNA, and also your scanning results, and when a lot of data inputs are there, it would be really easy for a machine learning model to easily detect what's the problem with, if there's a risk of cancer or not. So another technology now these days, in the same genetic testing, there's a testing, so this thing called ctDNA. So it will be in your, if you have a tumor somewhere in your body, so there will be like the tumor will actually omit some of the DNA, some of the DNA, cancer DNA is out in the blood or somewhere, in any fluids in the body. So what researchers, I just read this source of what researchers are trying to do is take this blood sample, take the circulating fluid sample, and to see whether, and use some very very high end sequencing technologies to see inside the DNA and see if it's cancerous, and see whether the patient is suffering from cancer, or a tumor is inside the patient. So if a tumor is there, we can go ahead with next screening and testing. So that's what our basically our research is, and how like various researchers are trying to use technologies like AI for cancer detection and basically early detection of cancer.
So Jaiden, I'm sure you've had enough of all these long questions. So for this round, let's switch it up and do a 30-second rapid fire random question round. Are you good with that?
Yeah, sure.
Timer is on the screen behind us. 3, 2, 1.
When's your birthday?
Actually, in August 11, 2004.
What's your favorite color?
Maybe pink, as in sync with pink.
What's your favorite animal?
Have a favorite animal? I have not thought about it. Yeah, I passed that.
What's your favorite food?
Oh, favorite food? It's hard. I have a lot of favorite food.
So Jaiden, I forgot to ask my most favorite question.
What is it?
What's your favorite SAT?
Oh, I didn't do
prep
that.
Katie calls her.
Katie calls. Well, I don't think Jaiden even does the SAT. He's not like us, and that is our time.
MIT researcher. MIT
MIT
That's
researcher
true,
doesn't
that's
need
true.
KD.
So, Jaiden, if you don't mind, we've actually received over 30 questions from our wonderful...
Cap.
Okay, maybe not 30.
30
Sure,
questions
sure.
from our wonderful supporters, and unfortunately, we only have the time to ask you 3 of them. Would you be willing to answer? So the first question is from Nitya Kappa.
Koopa.
Oh, I didn't quite
Tree
get it.
Troopa.
Can you repeat that?
Oh,
Koopa
true,
Troopa.
true.
Koopa Troopa.
How did you develop such a strong passion at such a young age, and when did you realize that this was what you were interested in?
Okay, I think I already answered it. It
Oh.
was basically through. I think it
Truly
was just
inspired.
through exploring technology and seeing. Even if I had like I thought mentioned, I used to like play on my grandfather's computer to see how things work. I mean, often if I use it, probably he would have to take it to the repair shop once in a month because my exploration was like that. I may do anything with that. So yeah, I mean, exploring various fields, exploring various things, how will help you really understand what you're interested in and what you're passionate about. I think without exploring, if you just go to a field, you may not even know what's happening in what your job is going to be. You may not even know what you're going to do there, but still you're there. So I think it's really important to see what you're doing, to think about what you're doing, to explore what you're doing, and possibly if you're able to try it out or get an experience of what you're doing earlier in your life, you would really understand. I mean, if the is this thing for me, and I is this and does this interest me, or does this, you can really understand if that suits you. You can really understand if that thing excites you. So I think it's really important to explore things, and that's basically how I came into AI.
Yes. Well, Jaiden, this is another question from our Sync with Pync team member, and they're asking, less realistically, aside from the current methods, how would you approach the problem if current restrictions of AI weren't applicable? If, say, AI technology is available, say, 5 to 7 years in the future, are available now?
Jaiden, I got this. Let me answer this question. Shri, next question.
All right, next question.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
move on to the next question,
I don't-
guys.
that
Alright,
case, it
our
doesn't
final
make sense.
question
Yeah.
is from
Sure.
Sumina Karnala. Do you have
Okay, keep going.
do you have any suggestions on what people can do individually to raise awareness about these issues?
So yeah, I think also awareness is also really important. So what Sync with Pink and many other organizations out there is doing is basically trying to fundraise and also raise awareness by doing podcasts like this. So if you're interested to work with organizations like this, there's a lot of organizations out there that's helping people, helping researchers. There's a lot of communities out there that's funding research projects. I have received funding from many of the organizations like that in the US. If you are and many researchers, many communities are out there doing many stuff, so you can probably collaborate them, and to spread awareness within your friend circle, spread awareness within your schools, try to within your places, try to work with communities like this to spread awareness in your local community.
Okay, so to add on to what Jaiden said, there are a number of things that you can do through the Sync with Pink organization itself. If you visit our website and click on the fundraising page, you can fundraise with us as an independent fundraiser. We've also linked a donation page on there, which is a link that you can send to your friends and family in hopes of garnering donations from them.
You can check out our website and our social media channels, and you can also
Check out our Twitter page our Instagram page, and our Facebook page. That's all the time we have for today's podcast. Thank you so much for taking us with your journey, Jaiden, and we hope this podcast was helpful to everyone listening. Jaiden, would you like to add anything?
No, thank you for having me here. It was a great experience. Like in this podcast, I think this is the first podcast for this in the series. So this was more like into the technical part of how I'm using that particular technology to do a small research project with my friends. And so in the future podcast, I think there will be more medical professionals who's actually professional in the areas in medicals and professionals in cancer and stuff who can answer more of your questions and stuff. So yeah, I hope you like my small explanation about AI and the small talk. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you, Jaiden. And one
Thank
last
you,
thing,
bye.
make sure to check our current website and our Instagram page and social channels to see our podcast and our future podcasts that come to fruition. And we hope to see you soon. And, that's all. Have a nice day.